Okay, hey guys, so I wanted to do a video to talk to you all about what worked for Joel and I for our two-night backpacking trip that we did recently on the Appalachian Trail. We section hiked from Woody Gap to Unicoi Gap. I almost said Nils. We went to Nils and stopped, but we went to Unicoi. So it was from Woody Gap to Unicoi Gap. And so that is roughly, it depends on who you talk to, but it's about 32 to 34 miles. I believe my Strava app said 34 miles total. So that is 2 nights out there. So I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to show you what worked and what did not work. Okay, so I will start off with what did work. Okay, so I have my massive sleeping bag here, very big and bulky Kelty. This is my Kelty sleeping bag. It is Cosmic Synthetic, 25-degree Fahrenheit temperature rated, and it's a women's. And so I have this big guy, which I thought this is ridiculous because it is so bulky and big. It took up quite a bit of space. I put it in this bag right here. It took up a lot of space at the bottom of my pack, but the first night that Joel and I hiked out there, it was super duper windy and really cold all night because we decided to put our tent at the top. I'm not really sure what top of the mountain it was. It was right before the next morning we hiked to Blood Mountain. So it was right before Blood Mountain, and I had the sleeping bag. And I remember thinking, I am so thankful I have a warmer sleeping bag because I literally barely, my face wasn't even peeking out. It was so cold. And the next morning we woke up and there was ice on the ground. So I was really thankful for this big Kelty sleeping bag. So that was one that I was surprisingly happy I brought. So there was that. Another bonus, I love our little stove. So it's very lightweight. You pop this guy out and then you twist it on. We brought 2 canisters. One of ours, the other one we had already used from a previous hiking trip, a backpacking trip, and so we brought I guess 1.5, and there's still plenty left in this guy. So you just twist this on, open it up, and it's easy to turn on. And so something else that's a pro that we brought with us, this is a Stanley cup, and actually this is what we put on top. We would put on top of this guy, and inside it has this little top here that you can grab, and then inside it comes with 2 plastic cups, and this is fairly heavy altogether. Like, this is heavy, these are light, but 2 plastic cups. We use these for our coffee, so this was a pro. These little Starbucks instant coffees, these are awesome out there. Joel and I both drink coffee, and we drink it every morning, and so that is awesome to have. Something else I put in the little green cups, and I was thankful that I had, was the bone broth, because as you know, I have POTS. If you don't know, I have POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and people with POTS have to have their sodium levels up. You need to keep your sodium up, and so this has quite a bit of sodium and protein in it as well. So this was great. I will say I did not drink as much of this as I thought I would on the trails because we didn't spend a lot of time. We were pretty much out there hiking and going. We were moving fast. The second day first day we did 6 miles, I believe. The first evening got dropped off at 4:30, did 6 miles, set up camp in extreme wind, set up the tent and everything, and really, really windy weather, so we were not really wanting to sit there and sip on something and enjoy our dinner. We were wanting to get in and go to bed. And so the next day we ended up hiking 17 miles, and we were really tired by the end of that day too. But I will say, I don't have them in front of me, but our instant, the freezer dry meals worked great for us out there. I'm trying to think of which one I had. I should have made this video closer to when we got off the trails, but I want to say mine was like a quinoa Mexican kind of dish in the meal, and it's like, feel good, be good. I'll have to look up the brand again. I've put it in a previous video if you want to check that out, and that one was really, really good. I believe Joel had the pad thai one, and his was not as good. It wasn't as flavorful as seasoned. So that was not that great. Mine was really flavorful, really awesome. Something else that I was surprised that worked for us out there that I wasn't really expecting to, and they were the goos. I didn't think that I was going to use the goos as much. This is more of something that I would use if I was trail running or something like that, but I actually ended up using these. The salted caramel is my favorite. If you're sensitive to caffeine, this one has 20 milligrams of caffeine in it. Some of them have no caffeine in them, like this birthday cake one. And then some, if you want an extra boost and more caffeine, like Joel likes, you could have the Espresso Love, which has 40 milligrams of caffeine in them, but they're just gooey. Consistency, it's got your amino acids, sodium. Like I said earlier, I need the sodium, so that actually was a nice little pick-me-up while we were out there, especially with us moving so quickly. On that 17-mile day, we did not stop a whole lot. Let's see, let me think about something else that did work bug spray. I was so thankful, especially at the second night that we camped out, we had bugs all around us, everywhere. And it was crazy, honestly, how many bugs around us, but we sprayed all around us while we were trying to make our dinner and all that, so we were not getting attacked by bugs. And this, I was super thankful that I brought this. So happy about the bug spray. Our water filters. These are the Sawyer water filters. We brought smart water bottles and we just screwed this to the top. We'll fill up the smart water bottle in the creek, in the stream, and then you screw this on top. And what we have is this is my Platypus 3-liter filter or bladder. And what you would do is this would be off, and then you would just put this part in there and you squeeze the smart water bottle. You use those sound effects too. And you just keep on doing that over and over again, and make sure you have a tight grip on this, because you don't want this to fall out of your hands when you're squeezing this other one, so it can be a little tricky, but this is awesome. So another pro is the Sawyer filter. It's super lightweight. It comes with a bag with it that you can get, but we didn't bring the bag. We just brought our smart water bottle to filter it out. Something else, these shoes are looking real ragged after the AT, hiking some of it, but these are my Hokas. I love these trail runners. They are the ATR Challenger 6, and you know, people go back and forth with whether or not they want a high top hiking boot. I always go for the trail runners, and Joel actually ended up getting him the same Hoka ATR Challenger 6s. And he said it was a game changer for him from the last time that we went backpacking in his other shoes. Okay, so ATRs, another thing. I did not have a headlamp, but I did have a simple, lightweight, super cheap flashlight, and I was thankful I had this. Joel had a headlamp. I couldn't find mine before we left. This flashlight was fine. So I was thankful for the flashlight. Let's see, what else? Okay, let's see. My backpack, you can see here, it is the Coyote 65, and it is amazing. I absolutely love this backpack. So this is definitely something that has worked for me for the past 2 trips, and I'm sure it'll continue to work for me for years and years to come. So I'm thankful for that. Something else that works great out there is my sleeping pad. So this is the Power Licks, if that's how you say it, outdoor sleeping pad. You can fold it up a lot smaller than this. I just kind of fold it up and then I put it in here. So the sleeping pad is in here. You roll it all the way out, and what I do, because it's just faster to me, is I blow this up with my mouth. But you can use the bag that the sleeping pad comes in and then attach this part to here. And they do the whole roll it up and squish it down method that you're supposed to do. I just use my mouth. It works. So that is great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that did work. Joel carries our tent. This is kind of a big tent, but it is the Taurus camping tent 2, because it's a 2-person tent, and that's what we sleep in while out there. It's kind of heavy, but it's very affordable on Amazon. and it's actually a pretty good tent. So, so we've done that a couple of times now out there, the Taurus 2 camping tent. So that works for us. Another thing, go to Walmart or somewhere and get you these little bags. Bring as many of these little lightweight bags as you can. They are awesome to have out there. We use this for our food at night to hang up with string in the trees for like to keep away from bears. They're great to put dirty clothes in. I like to have one bag where I have my dirty clothes, one bag where I still have my clean clothes in it. Food, I already said that, food bag. What I'll do with the stove and all of this, the cups and stuff will all go in one bag together. We'll also have one of these bags as like a trash bag with food in it too. Because you definitely don't want to leave anything out there. Leave no trace. So those are other things that work. Okay, so something that, oh, and I love this little cup too. This is an awesome cup and spoon fork to take out there too, to put like oatmeal or something. If my other little green cup that I showed y'all earlier, if I'm using that for coffee and have oatmeal and all that, so that's awesome. Something else that worked are these liquid IV packets. These are help a ton with keeping sodium level up, electrolytes, all of that. Something else that was really tasty out there, I wish I would have actually brought more because I forgot a lot of our food. I'll be getting into some. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start, and I'll talk to you about what did not work. What did not work was me remembering to pack all of the food that I had planned for Joel and myself. I think I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I just got confused because I was packing up his stuff too. Or what. So yeah, so these bars are really awesome if you have them with you. We had a couple of them, but what really saved us was having Nils Gap, a store on the Appalachian Trail that you could stop at and shop at, stop and shop and use the bathroom and all the things on the trail. So we actually ended up buying 3 protein bars while there. And I think maybe a drink or something. I can't remember what else, but that was, yeah. So we ended up buying that. So that was really helpful. I made a whole bunch of oatmeal protein balls, power balls before we left, and I left them all in the freezer. So that was a bummer. Something else that didn't work so hot is these are my clothes that I had out there. So I think I either was wearing like these like shorts or my black shorts. I can't remember. They're both Under Armour. But the first night I was wearing those, and I was so cold by the time we were finishing up our 6 mile out there. Like I said, it was crazy windy. We woke up the next morning with ice on the ground, so it was so windy. So I wish that I had worn, I don't know if necessarily pants that day or just had gloves. That was the number one thing I wish I would have had out there as far as clothing goes, was gloves for my hands, especially the morning that we woke up while out there hiking in that night, waking up that morning. I wish I would have had gloves on. Another thing I wish I would have brought was like an actual like hat to cover my ears. I do recommend bringing like a hat like this. I have it like so tight because I think Gavin wore it last. But just to have like a hat of some sort to keep the sun off your face, but also to have a hat that's going to keep you warm if you're going in March, because it gets a lot colder up there than I anticipated. Also, having layers is great. I wore like this little like shirt right here that was short sleeves, and it was great to have out there. I left my raincoat upstairs, but I also at night, what worked great was having a loose pair of pants. Definitely needed pants out there, and then just like a t-shirt. And the first night I actually layered up quite a bit. I even put this long sleeve shirt on that I ended up wearing the next day. And so yeah. So, and then I have another t-shirt, just short sleeve t-shirt that I had out there that I would just kind of layer up with at night. And so that was really great. I had a little toiletry bag. I love deodorant. I just feel better when I have deodorant on. I know, of course, I smell better, but I just feel better. So I had deodorant packed with me. I had my little bamboo lightweight toothbrush. And then I had like a little tiny like Crest toothpaste that I brought. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had anything else like that. I think it was just deodorant and toothpaste and toothbrush were and I had some face wipes. My face is super sensitive, so it got really irritated with the face wipes that I had brought. So that was not really that wise. I should have just like splashed some water on my face and called it a day. So yeah, the face wipes did not work so great. Something else that did not work so great is on the end of my bladder. I switched out at the last minute because out of God's grace, I ended up filling up this whole 3-liter bladder the night before and putting it in my pack. And the next morning before church, everything was soaked. There was the other mouthpiece I had actually had the cat chewed through a hole in it. So it had a hole cut into it and it leaked out all over my sleeping bag, everything. And I say by God's grace because we were not leaving until after church. So I had time to throw my sleeping bag in the dryer. I had time to hair dry my bag, my pack and everything. So I was so thankful I did that the night before versus putting it all in there and getting on the trails and being soaked. I would have been freezing the first night with it being icy out and all that. So thankful for that. But I did end up switching it to just one I had on hand. And this one, I had to play around with it quite a bit because it was leaking out and it was really aggravating on the trails. But what I ended up doing where my pack clips on right here, I ended up getting it twisted around and shoved into that little spot just right upright. And it still leaked out a little bit, but then I would hold it up and pinch the top and let all the water come down. And then place it back into the little in between where my chest was clipped on with the pack. So that worked, but it was kind of a frustrating thing the first several miles with that. So that was that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that worked or didn't work. I wish I would have brought the food that I had planned to bring. The little water thing was frustrating, but I got that figured out. I wish I would have brought a hat and some gloves because it was cold. I ended up bringing these black lightweight little slippers to put my feet on at night at the campsite like I did because we typically go on this type of trip in June. But it was way too cold to lounge around outside of our tent, and inside our tent I did not need shoes on. I just put my feet right into the sleeping bag and that was fine. So I did not need to bring the little slip-on black shoes to kick around in because my feet swell by the end of the day, and they didn't really do it that bad because it was colder and not as hot out, and so that really wasn't a big issue. Something else that we didn't really need like we needed last time, we needed like foot powder last time I felt like because we were so sweaty. It was June, the potential blisters on our feet and all that, but we really didn't have any issues with that this time and did not need that, so that was good. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, my hiking poles, which I just found out that the cat got to them since they've been back. The cat chewed all over these hiking poles, which is kind of a bummer. Joel never uses his hiking poles. He has them out there with him, but he never uses them. I really don't use them a whole lot either. But these are awesome ones to have if you do, because I like how much they... how easy they are to, see there it is. And then they are pretty easy to be able to fold up as far as make them go back into, well, you push this button. You can tell I use these a lot out there. But yeah, I like that they fold up nicely. And so this is as big as they are, and I can slide them into my pack. And it even has this little thing that you kind of cinch around it here. But yeah, but a lot of people, I think Joel and I are kind of the oddballs out with the hiking poles. We don't use them a lot. People swear by them, and we just don't use them a ton. I was thankful I had my rain pack, my cover for my pack, just in case if it rained, but I did not have to use it at all, so that's great, but it was nice to have this out there just in case. Something else, there's a little pillow that I could have used, but honestly with this new sleeping bag being so like plush, I did not need to blow up and use this pillow, so did not need that extra pillow because of the sleeping bag that I brought this time. All right, guys, I think that is it. If you have any questions, let me know. I will say if you do end up hiking Woody Gap to Unicoi Gap, I told Joel 2 words, up, down. Seriously, you are doing so much elevation straight up, and then you just go straight back down into a gap, and then you come straight back up and straight back down. There's not a lot of just straight walking. So it is a lot of up and down, so it can kind of wear on your joints and all that, and it can be challenging for sure. I would recommend taking breaks, but for me personally, I don't like to take too long of breaks because it's hard. You get kind of stiff, and for me, I get stiff out there and it's hard to get going again the longer I take a break. So I just want to kind of get there, and Joel and I both have similar pace. and similar desire in being out there for a certain amount of miles and all that, and we just kind of go with it. So it's helpful if you're going with someone that has a similar pace and desire as you are out there on the trails. So yeah, anyways, let me know if you have any questions. I love to be out there. It's amazing to be in God's creation like that, and just to be with someone that you love and not to have any of the distractions really from the world. But it's just a really peaceful time and very thankful for it. All right, bye.